PEP Radio is a part of the Pennsylvania Equality Project that plays music, news, and weather, actively advocating for the LGBTQ+ and disabled since 2024.
PEP Radio, available on Live 365, Roku, Alexa, and at paquality.com.
Here at Gay SA Radio, we're very happy to welcome the Othering podcast to our airwaves. Catch the show every Thursday at noon CAT, bringing fresh voices and compelling conversations straight to you.
Head over to gsaradio.stream to find out how you can tune in and become part of our family. Don't miss it, only on Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
One man and one woman join forces to rid the world
What are you doing?
of inequality and fascism.
Seriously?
I'm trying I'm trying to do a promo here.
For whom? What are you doing?
Welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory.
Hello.
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 How are you?
I'm good. How are you both doing?
We're good. Okay, today we're talking to Emmy Cooper Granville. She also goes by the moniker Nightmarish Meatballs on Instagram. She is a creative fiction writer, AI creator, and artist who has chronic migraines, ADHD, autism, and bipolar type 2. She has had migraines and headaches her entire life and was diagnosed in her mid-30s with ADHD and bipolar type 2. Under the Nightmarish Meatballs name, she writes brilliant, serialized, I knew that word was going to be a problem, brilliant, serialized dystopian horror stories set in pink and green carnival world. Welcome, Emmy. It's great to have you.
Yes, welcome. Thank you so much for talking with us. I know that Mike has been dying to talk to you because he loves all of your stories, and they really are really good.
Yes.
I've been reading them too.
Oh, thank you.
And I love the pictures that you've come up to kind of prompt you. And like some of them are really creepy in a good way, and some of them are just like, wow, and just like your thought process is really cool.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a really fun project, and it's really fun to be able to like show people what's in my imagination through those images. So like where we are with tech right now is awesome. Honestly,
It is.
It's really, and it's getting there's new things every day. I can't keep up.
I read on your website about kind of where it came about. Do you want to tell people about the writer's block you started with and how you kind of started this journey?
Yeah, so I wrote a novel. It was, COVID time. It was pandemic. We were in lockdown, and I had started working on this novel before that, but I all of a sudden had a lot of time indoors,
Yep.
as I'm sure many of us did. So I finished it, and I queried it around, querying meaning like submitting it to literary agents, because that's what you do if you want to be traditionally published. You need to find an agent who will then take on your manuscript if they like it enough, and then they'll try to find an editor who would take it on if they like it enough, etc. So I wrote this novel. I queried it around. I got kind of close with like requests and a couple of full manuscript requests, and people being like, oh, we really like it, but I have another client who's too similar, or like I like the subject matter, but it's just not for me right now. And obviously like rejection is part of the game. I was expecting it, but I ended up like getting really emo and being like, I'm never gonna write again. It's like so horrible. And so I kind of had this like really bad creative rut that I don't want to say it's like the rejection caused it. It's more like I was going through kind of a separate sort of burnout as well. This was before I knew I was diagnosed with anything outside of the migraines, which I've had my whole life. So in late 2021, which is kind of after I had queried this book and gotten nowhere, I was like, I was like incapable of doing anything creative, right? Like all I could do was like watch TV. Like I was consuming, no longer creating. And I watched a lot of European crime dramas on Netflix. It's one of my favorite genres.
Yeah, they're really good, aren't they? I mean,
They're so good.
they're addictive.
Yeah, but I ended up kind of pursuing this ADHD diagnosis. Like once I was in burnout and sort of started realizing this doesn't feel like normal burnout. This feels like something else. I ended up getting diagnosed with ADHD it was like early to mid 2022. And so that sort of rattled me a lot. I still was in this like major creative rut. And that lasted to the end of 2022 while I was sort of processing like, oh, you have ADHD now. Like, I mean, not now, like you've had it your whole life, but now you know you have it. And I was super bored, like just really bored, just really not having a good time. I was still in burnout. A lot of stuff had happened that was just like, I was not in a good spot, but I found a new shiny toy on the internet called Dolly, which was an AI image generation software. And so I was like typing words into it, and things I was seeing in my imagination were coming up as these like, I mean, they were really, I don't want to say bad back then, but compared to now, they were so glitchy and weird and like just looked like crap.
Yeah.
But that was sort of the fun. And I was like, oh my God, like I can see this story I want to tell, like laid out in front of me with my imagination coming out in these pictures. But I don't want to write a novel because I was really burnt out on long form fiction. And so I was like, I want to serialize it. What would be the best platform? And I never really thought I would use the images in conjunction with the story. I was just like, oh, maybe I could write on like Substack or something like that. But then it just sort of clicked that the images were really funny. Like I was just like, these are so funny and fun. Like I should do this on Instagram. And so I started doing it, and that's what got me out of the like massive writer's block, creative block I had been in. I really credit like the old AI software with doing that, like opening up my imagination and my brain again. And since then, I've been writing every day almost since the end of 2022. I've gotten back into painting. Like I still have times where I'm feeling burnt out creatively, as we all do, but like it really honestly like changed my life for the better.
And
Yeah.
I like that.
And the pictures make a huge difference.
Yes.
Seeing the
Yeah.
picture next to the story you write, and I know you said that you write it before you see the picture, which, is that right?
I know the story I'm going to tell, so I have an idea of what the picture is going to be. So I kind of, I write the caption and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I want to make the picture look like, that based on what I'm seeing in my mind.
Yeah,
So,
so seeing that picture with that story, just being able to put it together, it works out so well. It's really neat.
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will say I use Midjourney. So for
Okay.
any listeners who are also into AI creation, I'm a diehard Midjourney person. It's my favorite tool out there. It's been what I've been using from the beginning. So,
And AI is a great tool for that because it helps open, like you said, our creativity up. Because sometimes, like, I wrote a book a while ago. I think it's kind of but I wrote it. I
thought it
finished
was
it.
good.
Well, nobody read it, so I don't know.
we all judge our own work and think it's
Yeah,
okay.
and like I thought some of it was really good and some of it could have been, tweaked or whatever, but that moment of where you're finally done and sometimes it's like your brain just can't seem to think of anything else. It's like you spent so much time on that and then it's like your brain's like, what are you talking about? Another thing? I don't think so. And then finding out that you're ADHD and kind of like, for me, how it happened was like when my therapist told me, oh, by the way, and I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And why, and I bring this up because you mentioned the burnout, not feeling like normal burnout.
Yes.
And that was a key factor into my, seeking help because I was having a really, really long burnout and I just could not for the life of me, motivate myself to do anything.
That was from writing your dissertation more so than the book.
But still, both of them kind of like fried my brain, it feels like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what writing a dissertation on top of trying to write a book would do.
Yeah.
That I would just, I think my head would implode.
And my head did implode. I had to build it, rebuild it later. But, but it honestly, it's weird because writing the book while I was doing my dissertation helps me keep track of my dissertation and kept me from going insane from writing the dissertation and all the edits and all of that stuff. So it was like I was able to use my creativity and my analytical side to keep from, completely just feeling like I can't do this, forget it, and run away. But it does happen. And, for those that are out there that are trying to do any type of work within, novel writing, nonfiction, or anything like that, please, just if you have to take a small break, take a small break.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
push.
absolutely.
And the rejection is hard. I tried to
Yeah.
write fiction once and I sent it out to all the publishers and agents, got rejected, big folder full of them. It's difficult, but you can't let it completely destroy you.
Absolutely. I always think about the fact that Stephen King had so many rejection
Yep.
letters that they pulled the nail off of his wall, allegedly. That's
Yes.
what I've heard. And it's funny because I kind of went into it expecting to get rejected. So it was exciting when I did get requests for pages, but I
Yeah.
never really had this thought that the novel would go anywhere. Obviously there was a hope, but I was never like, oh yes, it's definitely going to happen. I was like, it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to try. And then you get rejection after rejection after rejection. And part of what I've learned with ADHD since I've been diagnosed is rejection sensitivity dysphoria, or RSD for short. And I struggle with that with quite a few things. I'll be like, oh my God, is somebody mad at me?
Oh my God, I do that too.
Yep.
Yeah. And thinking back, I didn't know I had ADHD or the accompanying collectible items that come with it when I was querying my manuscript. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I was definitely, I think experiencing all that rejection led to some huge, massive rejection sensitivity dysphoria, blob encompassing me. And that contributed to the overall burnout, as well as some other factors. So yes, I totally agree with you that anybody working on creative projects, breaks are really important, even if
Yeah.
it's something you like doing, which I love writing the serialized fiction I do right now, and I am actually working on more long form. I've gotten my sea legs back for that, and I'm excited about it, but I do take breaks still, because I find that if I don't, I sort of start losing the enjoyment, and when I can tell that I'm losing the enjoyment for the stories and pictures I'm posting on Instagram, that's when it's time to step back and just
Yeah.
take a little mental break. And with ADHD, that can be really hard because you hyperfixate on things.
Yes.
And you want to keep going and going and going, and sometimes can't stop yourself. So I'm like, I have to stop myself. I can tell the quality is lower. I'm not loving it. So just take a break.
Yes. And it's, the hyperfixation is a huge thing that Mike always fusses at me for, because do you find that sometimes you're watching something and anything could happen right next to you and you don't hear it at all because you're so focused in the TV show? Yeah, I do that all the time. Mike gets so mad at me for it.
Because she ignores me.
But I can't. It's not like I'm trying to ignore you. It's just honestly,
I totally get it.
Your brain shuts off all of the other senses, it seems like.
I'm the opposite. I can't sit still long enough or really stay in one thing for long. I'm bouncing around. I can't sit still for a movie. I have to get up and go do something or go get a snack or something. I can't sit still, or I'll talk through it, which pisses her off, of course.
Yes.
Well, I do that too. I'm like a combo of both of you, I think, because I will be like really fixated on the movie or the TV show, but then I will have what I call IMDb emergencies where I'm like, I recognize this actor from
Yes.
something,
Yep.
or like
Yes.
whatever, and I'll have my husband is like, what are you doing? Because I'll like get out my phone and look up IMDb and not stop until I figured out that that person who's an extra in the background over there was on an episode of like The Office, like, you know, a million years ago. And I'm like, yes, I figured it out. And he's like, you really had to like do all that with like and I have the trouble with like talking or like, oh, I need to get up to get a glass of water or something like that. But I also really love film and cinema and TV. So I'm like, the amount of times I press pause on TV shows and movies is embarrassing. Like just to get up and get a snack. But when I'm watching it for the most part.
When on TV shows, I'll stop and pause, or I'll do multitask things where I have to have the sound going on some of my favorite murder shows, and then I'll be doing something on my phone at the same time, and it's like sometimes I have to do it that way, or sometimes I have to hyper focus on the movie, or I have done where I see somebody, if I recognize them, I have to look it up. I can't wait till the end. I will pause and be like, okay, what's that name? And I've got to look it up because I will go insane for the rest of my life if I don't know who that was in that movie at that time.
Yep.
And
Very relatable.
And growing up with that, how did you feel? Like looking back on your childhood, looking back on your friendships in college, high school, how did that, make you feel? Because like for me, it's like, oh my God, that's why.
Yeah. I mean, I always thought it was just like normal because that's just how I was. And then I get diagnosed with ADHD in my mid 30s, and I'm like learning about it and like learning all of these kind of traits that I have. And I guess what maybe back then as a kid and as like a college student and a young adult, I would describe as like personality quirks or like weird traits. I'm just a weird person, or like I can't focus on this. So I was always like a very high performing student. Like I did really well in school, but I always put my papers off until the very last minute.
Yes.
So I would it would be like 2 a.m. the night before it was due, and I would be like smashing out like this essay on whatever it was, and I would get good grades is the thing. But I just felt like I was cheating the system somehow. Like I would put it off, and then just like go full in and be exhausted and burnt out. And I just thought that was normal. I was like, oh, this is just how I function, because my friends would be like, working on that paper for weeks beforehand, perfecting it, doing all their research. And I'm like scrambling like the day before and knowing like leading up to it, you should be doing this, but like, I'll do it later. And then it comes down to the wire. And I tend to be decently good at things when it comes down to the wire. And I've read that people with ADHD tend to be good in jobs such as like emergency medicine or anything that involves like a crisis, because you can
We're calm in the crisis.
You're calm in the crisis. And I used to work in hospitality. I worked in a restaurant, and I always felt really like on top of it when it was very, very busy, like in the weeds, as we called it, on like a Friday or Saturday night, when you would have all your tables seated with like huge parties, and there's like a million different things going on, and all of a sudden the kitchen runs out of this and that, and you have all your tables asking for like different things at the same time. And I thrived in that environment.
Right.
But I didn't thrive in slower environments, but I still did really well. Like I was considered like a gifted and talented student, but I really burned myself out, and I didn't know I was burning myself out. And so thinking back, now that I know I have ADHD, it makes so much sense as to like why I put those papers off until the last minute, why I thrived in that chaotic environment of the restaurant, why I felt different from my friends when they were like, you know, really research focused and able to sort of like do their homework or do their projects like over time. And here I was like the day of.
Yeah, I would wait until the day before for projects. Written stuff, math homework, all of that stuff, I would do like that morning, right before I'd have to go in class or, you know, before school. And I kind of, like you, I thrived in that environment. Like it was stressful, but it was just like, it felt good to be in that stress, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense whatsoever.
It does. It's a weird sense. It's like I'm really stressed. In theory, stress should be bad, but this is motivating me to get something done.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
So,
when I have time, I can't wrap my head around doing it.
You think too much
exactly.
Yeah.
when you don't have time to think.
Oh, I am an overthinker. Like,
Yes.
When you don't have time to think, it helps.
yeah, when you don't have time to think, it really helps.
Yeah, I'm a huge overthinker. I will come at it in every like certain things I will come at like all different directions thinking, and then I'll think again, and then a week later I'll think about it again, and then it'd be like, you know, 2 years ago on this date you said blah blah blah. I would like you to know that this is not how it goes. And
Yeah.
Mike would look back at me like, what are you talking about? Wait, what? But that's just kind of how it works. It's like some things I can react immediately, and then there's other things where I have to take those years, it seems, to like think it through.
Yeah, to process and digest, and then it'll be like 5 years later, and you're like, oh, or you know, you'll wake up at 3 a.m. and think about
Yes.
everything you've ever done that is like horrible or embarrassing, and the RSD will come on really strong, and then you're like, oh great, I'm not going back to sleep. I'm just going to ruminate. Ruminating is one of those things that also seems to come along with ADHD. It's I like to call it the Pokemon collection of like whatever is in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And, you know, you should have, oh, damn it, I should have said this at that time. That would have been a great comeback. Or, you know, I think in those terms sometimes at 3 a.m., where it doesn't matter anymore because it was like 20 years ago type of thing.
it's happened. What can you do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And it's just like, who cares? It's like half of your brain is like, who cares? Honestly, who cares? And the other half of your brain is just like, but I should have said this and it would have been perfect. And so it's kind of like that annoying thing, like in the cartoons where you have like the devil on one side and the angel on the other. And I kind of feel like that's how it is with our brains. Instead of a devil and angel, it's realism
Yes.
and, you know, doing things at a normal pace and this imaginary world where, like, for me, I would get lost in daydreams and I would come up with some outrageous ideas, you know, names that I wanted to be called or something like that. And it feels like that's kind of what you're working with sometimes is in this little, for me, the side of daydreaming and art or things like that is what sometimes gets overactive, especially at night. And have you ever woken up in the middle of the night like, oh my God, I got to write this down. This is a great idea.
Yes, I definitely have, and of course, usually I don't, and then I forget what it is.
Yep.
But I've started. I have like a running list in my notes app on my phone of story ideas, and so if I do wake up in the middle of the night and I've had like a really wild dream or something, and I manage to think about it, I'll grab my phone and just add like one line to my. It's crazy long, and it would probably land me on a search list somewhere with some of the stuff that is in there as story ideas or questions, but I'll add it to my like list of story ideas. Will I act on it? I don't know. That's another part of the ADHD is like having all these ideas, but hyperfixating on like one in particular. And that's part of, I'm like very surprised that I still have the Nightmarish Meatballs project going. It's been almost 3 years now, and it's the longest self-directed hobby I've ever had.
Awesome.
So that is to me like I don't get it. I'm like, okay, so is this like the ADHD making you hyperfixate on this project for a very long time, because usually my hyperfixations last anywhere from like 2 to 4 weeks. Like I'll get really into a certain subject and like, read all about it, or like get the stuff. Like I urgently need to learn how to embroider right now. And then it goes into the hobby graveyard.
Yep.
I wish I could take credit for that term, hobby graveyard, but I can't. I heard it elsewhere. But yeah, usually the projects I do, they do not last more than maybe 2 months max. So the fact that I'm still writing, and it might help that it's short fiction. Like, I mean, it's all connected in the same universe, but it's like short bursts, and I do it ad hoc. I mostly do it ad hoc. Sometimes I write the stories in advance, but usually I'm writing them like on the day. And I think that works with my ADHD brain somehow and has kept me going. Like I find it enjoyable and it's stimulating, and it's like it still feels new even though it's been almost 3 years. It'll be 3
And
years.
I would guess, sorry to cut you off, I would guess that having the following and the fans behind you and people loving what you do, that helps to motivate you to keep it going and really continue it.
Yeah, it does. I never set out even to have a following, which is the funny thing. I think I got really lucky being in the right place at the right time. Like I just wanted to write stories for myself and share these silly images, and I was enjoying it. And at the time, late 2022, early 2023, places were still in lockdown. People were still dealing with like pandemic isolation, and naturally we turned to the internet when we have nothing else to do. And there was sort of this little bubble of AI creators mixing images with kind of like narrative storytelling, and I ended up in that bubble and think that like I got lucky in that regard. And so it's great to have, like, I love my readers. They're amazing. And I love knowing that people out there like read what I write, enjoy it, leave comments. Like it's so fun engaging with them and like hearing what they have to think about it. And it is motivating too, being like, okay, people like kind of like managed to prove to myself independently from like querying literary agents that there is an audience for my work.
Right.
So that's motivating and helps me be like, okay, the novel I'm working on now, like you do have an audience for your short fiction. You might have an audience for your longer fiction if they like your short fiction. So it all sort of, honestly, the Instagram account is like almost like a strange marketing experiment to see if people like my writing.
It's working.
I'm doing it. Like, so I think just the fact that I have fun doing it is what's kept it going. Where like a lot of my other hobbies and projects, I've just gotten really bored really quickly. Or not even that, like just lose interest, or lose the hyper interest. Like I still have a lot of I'm really interested in, but not to the point where I like am sucked into the rabbit hole of them for like 4 weeks.
Yes.
I have found even with like writing a novel, it's hard to stay in it because it takes so long. For one, you're really into it when you start, and then you're like, oh, I'm only 5 pages in. I've got to write another 200 pages. Nobody's reading it. Nobody's saying anything good about it. You question everything you do. It just makes it so much harder to continue. But with like what you're doing on social media and even what we do here, getting that feedback from people just makes a huge difference and really motivates you to push forward.
Yeah, it does. It's a great motivating factor.
And you're really good. Like, I love listening to your stories, and because Mike will sometimes read them, and it's like the way that you write it, it really does kind of, I don't even always need to see the picture. I can see what you're seeing, and it's really well done. And if anybody doesn't follow you yet, they need to now, because it's really good.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I like I've said before, I like being a hype person because, y'all need it as much as possible, because you all are very awesome, and your writing is awesome, and some other people's paintings are awesome, and it needs to get out there.
And I love your podcast for that reason. It helps me feel seen, honestly. Like because I think we sort of like met on Threads.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Othering podcast, what's this? And then we chit chatted a bit, and I listened to a few episodes, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, these are real people, like normal people, just like me, who are going through things that, are hard, and
Right.
they're talking about it. And I don't know, it's like, I was like, I feel validated. Not that I wish anybody is going through these things, but just to know that other people are. It's yeah, you're doing an amazing thing with this podcast, seriously. And like
And what you said is kind of where it came from, because Dory CRPS, she was really in a dark hole at the beginning, just feeling lonely, and she can explain it better. But having started this and finding this community is really healing,
it's
especially
all about
her, but all of
community.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will, sing it from the rooftops that you all literally saved me, because it's not that I didn't have family or friends or anything, but sometimes when you're in the throes of trying to reconcile what your body isn't doing, when you think, okay, I used to be able to do X, Y, and Z, and now it's just like, come on, get up, and it just doesn't want to cooperate. And sometimes you feel like you're not supposed to feel bad about that because other people have it worse, and then other times you feel like really, really bad, and then you think, well, nobody else is going to understand. And then when I started talking to you all through this, it made me realize I wasn't alone, and that I'm not as weird as I thought I was. I'm not some, alien beamed down from Mars. And, finding that commonality, and
Yes.
just it makes me feel like you said, validated, like I'm a human too. And even though
Yeah.
I started this to promote your humanity, I think that it's helped me find more of even mine.
Well, it's the connections we make along the way, right? And like you mentioned, sort of feeling like, oh, other people have it worse, and so I shouldn't be feeling this way. I'm the same way, like with my chronic migraines, my ADHD. I have bipolar type 2. It's like you can't see any of those things. I quote unquote look fine, and so I'm always like, oh, I shouldn't be like complaining in my head. I should just, like pull up your bootstraps and get on with it. Just like the migraine, it's just a headache. Meanwhile, I just spent an hour puking in the bathroom. Like that's completely normal, and like not being able to like look at light without puking again. Real fun stuff. But you can't see it. And the same thing with like ADHD and bipolar and I'll say Pokemon collection again of other kind of illnesses. Like I've had anxiety and depression my whole life, and obviously the bipolar exacerbates certain elements of that, and so does the ADHD. And then stress exacerbates like all of those things. And so when you say, this podcast and connecting sort of like saved you, I can say the same thing about finding AI and finding a community and starting my writing again. Like it saved me. Like I was in a very, very dark place, and it really did save me. Just finding a way to be creative again. And the community came afterwards, but I was creating, and it was kind of one of those, like, I'm not sure it's the chicken or the egg situation, like which came first. But
Exactly.
once I was creating, I was still, not in a great space for a while, and I still go through like ebbs and flows, but I started connecting with people and started actually feeling like, oh, I'm doing something, like I'm doing something with my life. Like, I mean, writing stories on Instagram isn't exactly like rocket science, but it's still something that is enjoyable. And it's connected me with people.
Actually, I'm going to have to push back on you, because your writing is kind of like rocket science. Not everybody can do that. You have a
Oh, well,
talent.
I
And
appreciate
yeah,
that.
everybody can write a sentence. See Dick run. But to take that sentence and to build a world around it, to build characterizations that are unique to those pictures, to those scenes, to those areas is not something that everybody can do. There are times when I have wondered how some of these authors that are like, bestsellers or even made money, because it's like, oh my God, did anybody read this before they let this out? And there are others, and yeah, I understand that it's part of, subjective, but
Yeah.
you do have a talent for those
Thank
words. And I don't want you to, for lack of a better way to put it, I don't want you to, downplay your talent because
Oh, thank you. I do
you're
that a
welcome.
lot. I downplay myself. This is not the first time I have actually been like kind of called on it by people. Like it's funny, my husband will be like, stop like, downgrading yourself. Like you're still doing this. You're good at it. You enjoy it. And I'm like, well, yeah, but like, and it's so easy to find those things that are wrong and to nitpick to yourself. And I think that's for me exacerbated by ADHD because I hyperfixate. And I'm like, okay, all of it can be like, very well received, or people really liked this and this and this, and that's amazing. And I'm so grateful. But then I got like one negative comment and I'll hyperfixate on that, or I'll be disappointed with like one story I wrote, not think it was that great, but it's published now, I can't change it, and be like, oh, I could have made it differently, but I didn't, and like kind of ruminate on that.
Yep.
But this is all to say thank you for your kind words,
No,
because I do need that reminder. I think I'm a very like ruminate-y person, and I tend
trust me,
to.
I do that too.
Yep.
I will sit there and I will, oh my God, I should have said this, or why didn't I edit that correctly? How did I miss the
Yes.
comma that was supposed to go right there? And even though it's already, you can't go back and fix it anymore. But again, it's like that 3 a.m. Moment where you wake up and, you know what I should have said?
Oh, I made a typo. Oh my
Yes.
God. And now it's out there for the whole world to see. And meanwhile, like I'm probably going to be the only person who notices that typo,
Right.
Yeah.
because like I used like, an M dash instead of a semicolon. When I should have done it opposite.
Yeah, and it's true. I guarantee you that most people probably don't notice it. I think
Yeah.
the only ones that really would are like, honestly, people that have done dissertations only because we had to be so diligent for our papers that you kind of see it immediately in somebody else's stuff.
I would guess 95% of the world doesn't know when to use an M dash versus a semicolon.
I would say 98%.
Yeah, I don't even know the difference. I'm not sure I know the difference. I know what they both do, but I don't know when to use one versus the other.
Yeah, there is a reason, but that's not, that's APA shit. We ain't gonna go through that. That brings up honestly nightmares for me sometimes, and
But-
so I don't want to talk about that anymore.
I wanted to talk about your chronic migraines because that sounds pretty
Sure.
awful. I had a concussion like 6 months ago, and I have constant headache like in the front of my head. It's not that bad. I'm not. Thank you. I know I shouldn't say that.
No.
But I don't like throw up from it. I mean, I can still like look at light and stuff, but
Barely.
it's still horrible. I hate it. So
Yeah,
what you've
hey.
been explaining sounds absolutely awful. What was that like, especially growing up and when you were younger and kind of, I guess, getting used to it and figuring out what to do and how to handle it?
Yeah, well, again, something I just thought was normal. Like, I've had them since I was a kid. I can't remember specifically when they started getting really bad. And I'm fortunate that, like, I don't have a migraine every single day. Like, some people have, I believe it's called intractable migraine, where it's just like one long chronic migraine where they, like, literally are in deep pain and can't look at light or hear sounds for as long as that lasts. For me, I get headaches very frequently, and if I'm not careful, those headaches will turn into the migraines. And I always just thought it was normal. Like as a kid, it was like I have a headache, and oh, now it hurts more, and oh, it hurts to look at the light, and oh, I feel nauseous, and isn't this what headaches are like for everybody? And then I would have friends who are like, I've never had a headache in my life. And I'd be like, what? I
Yeah.
have one like every day. Like, what do you mean you've never had a headache? And then, of course, there's the, oh, a migraine is just a headache. Like, and I think people who have never had a migraine, I can't fault them for thinking that. Like, they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And also, migraines, there, I don't really know where it came from, but use it as an excuse to get out of things, like, oh, I have a migraine. Like, maybe it was in
Right.
some movie or something. Who knows where it came from? But so there's the stigma around it being like not a real illness because it's just a headache, and everybody gets headaches, and oh, drink some more water, or like, have you tried yoga? Or oh, my cousin's friend's uncle's sister's daughter has this supplement, and she used to get migraines, and now she doesn't get them anymore because she changed her diet. And it's just like, fuck off,
Yes.
man.
Yep.
And I don't mean to laugh, but every time I see that, have you tried yoga? It just always makes me laugh, because that is like the number one thing for headaches, backache. Your head has been chopped off. Have you tried yoga? It'll come back on magically.
And it didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, your head is like literally 2 feet away from you, and you're asking me if I want to try yoga. I mean, what the hell's wrong with you? And it's those types of things that go through my head. It's weird, but that's what I see in my head. And it is not just a headache.
No.
It is physically horrible from head to toe. It is not just your head. It's your eyes, your jaw, your nose, your ears, your neck, your back, your arms, your feet, everything. Because any slight movement can trigger it.
Yes, it's a full body neurological event.
Yes.
And it's not one of the things I've learned, because I've had to do a lot of research to kind of arm myself with knowledge. So when I do go to a doctor, I can be like, this is what I want you to look into, rather than asking them for their opinion, because, as well-meaning as some doctors are, there's not a lot of research into migraines.
No, there isn't.
And I once had a doctor, first he took a phone call about golf during the appointment, and then he told me, oh, you get migraines because you have a uterus. And I was like, I mean, like, maybe, but it's probably more than just that. And then he sent me on my way, prescribed me something. And when I went to the pharmacist, they were like, have you taken this drug before? And I was like, no. And they were like, I advise you don't take it as a first resort, because it has some really nasty side effects, including like suicidal ideation. And I was like, this guy this doctor just obviously didn't care. Like, I was just taking up space for him and paying him money, and that was it. So over the years, I'm very lucky now to have, I guess, what I'd call like a crew of specialists who kind of all are on the same page and have notes that like are shared with one another based on my conditions. But I went on a tangent because I'm ADHD. What I was going to say about migraines,
I didn't even notice.
was that there's the migraine, like the headache part is only one stage of the migraine. There's the prodrome. Well, for some people, they get the aura. I don't get that, so I don't see the sparkly lights. Sometimes I wish I did, because it's a sign that it's coming. There's the prodrome, which is like days leading up. You can feel anxious or be yawning a lot, or like certain things can be happening in your body that like are indicative that a migraine is going to come. And then you get the migraine, like the head pain part, which can last, they say up to 72 hours. And then after that, you get what's called the postdrome, or like I call it the migraine hangover, which to me, it's like in some ways almost worse than the actual migraine part, because there's no pain. I seem like I'm fine, like I'm not puking anymore, but I can barely spell my name, and I'm like not functional, but I feel like, oh, you should be like able to work as normal because you don't have a migraine right now. You're pain free. but I'm sort of like bumbling around the house being like, where am I? Like, what day is it? Because of whatever happens in your brain during a migraine. And they don't really know. Like, there's such little research done into migraines.
Yeah.
Like, if I was a doctor, I would devote my studies to migraines.
I would want to.
Even if I could discover one thing about it, like, it would be worth it.
And number one, for audience, just because somebody has a uterus, that is not the excuse for every damn pain.
No.
There are a lot of people who don't have uteruses that also get migraines because they were born without uteruses. Just like, there's women that were born without uteruses that get migraines. It's not always the uterus.
Yes.
There are men that get migraines.
Yeah.
AMABs that get migraines. They're not usually born with uteruses, and they still get them. So, let's check our bias.
Global phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, I mean, I hope not everybody, but people, lots of people get them.
Yes.
Yep.
And we need to stop, we need to check our biases at the door. Just because somebody may be born with a uterus or maybe born with testicles doesn't negate the pain or, the horrors that they're going through with their body. Two, if anybody says it's just a headache, tell me, I will slap them silly. Because it is not. I have had migraines ever since I got a CSF leak. I have started getting migraines. It's horrible. If I move wrong and my heart starts pumping, I can feel it everywhere, and it is awful.
Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I looked at a bright light for a split second.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have a migraine now, and who knows what sort of fun is going to happen with that. You might be puking. You might be like lying in the dark for 72 hours. You might be like, I don't know, like, just, it's like you said, you move the wrong way and off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, I had an attack recently. I moved my toe, moved a damn toe, and I felt my blood just pumping, and it felt like it was trying to escape my body because it throbbed so badly in my head. And so, just saying, downplaying people's pain, even if it is, quote unquote, just a headache, who cares? If they're asking you for help, help them.
Yeah. And I downplay my pain all the time because I think just that sort of other people have it worse, right? Like, I find myself doing that. And then I'm like, wait, no, like, it's not the sickness Olympics. Like, other people have it differently. I should be allowed to sit with and feel whatever I'm feeling right now. And like, it may not be as bad as something else, but it's affecting me very badly in that moment. And so that's been something that I've been trying to work through with my therapist, is like kind of recognizing like that, sort of, I guess, changing the narrative around, oh, other people have it worse off. Like, I need to be perfect. I need to be fine. It's like, no, you don't need to martyr yourself. Like, it's okay to feel bad and to acknowledge that other people feel bad in a different way. And it's quite hard for me to do that with the migraines because they're an invisible illness, and I can get an attack when I'm out, say at the shopping mall or something. I have to drive home, and it's like, I look completely fine, but I'm going to be like driving home with like an ice pick in my head and hoping and praying that I don't like crash the car. Like, I probably shouldn't be driving. Or sometimes it's like a race to get home before it gets bad. I'm like, okay, I know this is going to get bad, so I need to leave now. And I have exactly like 22 minutes before I'm going to have to, get the ice pack and try to take the meds and do whatever I need to do to try to abort it. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't work. So it's always a crapshoot. Like, will this nasty headache go away once you do the things to try to make it go away? Or will it turn into a full-blown migraine that debilitates you for like 3 whole days? Who knows? Fun times.
And I would imagine as a writer staring at a bright computer screen and little words all the time, I'm sure that doesn't help at all. That doesn't help
No,
my
no, staring at
headaches.
the computer screen doesn't help. I do have everything turned on to dark mode. So like the text is
Right.
white and the screen is black, which does help. But if I get a migraine attack, like I'm not going to be at my computer.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
am going to be like probably buried under the covers with, I have these like ice caps. They're like literally like these hats you wear that could go over your eyes, and they're supposed to, the theory is that really cold stuff or changing temperature will distract the nerve pain, and like that's why they say if you have a migraine, try taking a really hot shower and then turning it to cold and then turning it back to hot and then turning it to cold, because it might distract your nerve endings or your nerve centers or something. And sometimes that has worked for me. Like I was always like, I'm not going to take a cold shower. Like, what kind of like baloney is this? And then I tried it and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess, it worked. So I was like almost like, because it was like kind of the equivalent of like, have you tried yoga? It was like, well, have you tried like changing the shower temperature? And like, that's not going to help. And then like one time it did, and I was like humbled by that fact.
Yes, I also want to add real quick that we have a tendency, I think we all kind of have a tendency to downplay how we are. And, part of it is growing up with, you're not supposed to share those types of things. Nobody wants to hear it. Actually, people do want to hear it. And we have to also stop trying to put ourselves in a hierarchy and put ourselves into the, disability Olympics, because we can't all be in this together if we're fighting each other over the little scraps that they give us. And, be together and let's fight for the bigger scraps that we all deserve. And the shower thing, ew. Because cold showers, like, okay.
Right? No, thank you.
No.
Thank you.
And honestly, like with my CRPS, I can't do it because that would that would probably work, because then it would send me into a different type of flare. So maybe I should do that. Yeah, my head is fine.
I'm not advising anything. I would say cold shower. Turning it to cold is very miserable.
Yes.
I was very miserable. But then, and it doesn't work every time. Like, it worked once. I've tried it again, and it didn't work. So it's such a crapshoot with what works and what doesn't work for these types of invisible illnesses we have. And it's like, could there be one pill I can take that'll just solve it all? That would be
that would be nice.
amazing. Please, doctors, what are you doing?
Yes, because I hate having to take 80 different pills every morning and night, and nothing totally helps.
Yep.
And it's frustrating because, like, I don't want to ask for more because I don't want to come off as drug seeking, which they love to label you as.
Yes.
So I don't want to come off as that, but it's like, it's also not really helping.
Yeah, I've had the drug seeker like feeling / like they kind of treat you like that. And I actually did a genetic test because I was like, certain types of drugs I seem to have a high tolerance to. And my current doctor, who's really amazing and actually listens to me, was like, oh, there's a test you can do to see if you have, how you react to certain medications. And I took this test and it was just like a saliva swab type thing. And it came back and it showed me I do have a high tolerance to like pain medications. So I had some validation there. Like, now I have paperwork to prove to you that I am not a drug seeker. Like, for my migraines, I actually genetically have a high tolerance to these meds. So,
and even if you were a drug seeker, honestly, who gives a flying fuck? Treat the person.
Treat the person, right. Yeah, listen to their symptoms. Listen to what they're saying. And so many medical professionals do not listen to what you're saying. And, like, it's just so frustrating. It is. Yes. It has been a frustrating journey. Like I said, I'm very fortunate now to have a team of different medical professionals who are like, they referred me to each other basically. So that's really, really awesome. And I have a neurologist who's really amazing and actually spends time treating me versus just like, here, you should try this injection thing that probably gives me a kickback in money and then like sends me on my way and tells me to drink water. I was like,
Yep.
okay, that appointment was $500 and not worth it.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm glad that you have that team because so many of us don't always get that ability to have those teams.
I'm very fortunate and I recognize that. And I really feel for it. Took me a long time to get to this point, like a really long time. And it was very much a struggle. We'll just say 2023 was the bad year of trying to find specialists and being told, oh, our wait list is 2 years long, or oh, we've stopped taking new patients simply because we have too many. It was only in 2024 that I actually started getting the help that I actually needed. And when I got a psychiatrist who was really amazing, who then referred me to an endocrinologist, who then referred me to a neurologist. So like I recognize my privilege with that. It's very rare to have that be something that happens.
And
So
it should be the norm, actually.
Yeah. What's the healthcare system like in Australia compared to the U.S.?
Well, I would say it's definitely better than the
That's not
US.
hard.
A nail in the head is better.
Yeah. It's, if you want to, so basically we have something called Medicare, which is different than Medicare in the States. Medicare here is like, it covers what you go in for. You might have like a copay of something, but it covers like the rest. And that's part of the, I hope, don't quote me on this because I'm not super knowledgeable about the healthcare system anywhere, but if you want to see a doctor in the public healthcare system, it's like almost always free. If you want to see a doctor within a private network, you do have to pay for that, and that would be where private health insurance comes in.
Gotcha.
But the wait lists for the public health can be really, really, really long. So fortunately, I've been able to see doctors within the private system since I have private health insurance, and my wait time was a lot less than it might be. Now, if I broke my leg, that's an emergency and I wouldn't be put on a 6-month wait list. But for sort of non-urgent things like migraines are considered, it's not an urgent situation. So you could, if you want to see somebody in the public system, we'll put you on a wait list. It could be a year before you get in. And I was like, I'm fortunate enough to be able to pay the money to see a private specialist. So that's what I did.
Yeah, that's nice.
It
to
is.
be able to have that sort of help.
It is nice.
Yes,
and it's
it
nice
is.
to know that if something were to happen and you couldn't necessarily do the private, you still have the public to fall back on. And
Exactly.
Whereas, here it's you ain't got private. Oh, well.
Yeah, exactly. And I've experienced both the US and the Australian healthcare systems. And I'm just honestly like, the difference is astonishing. Like, I mean, we still have shit doctors here too,
Of
but
course,
the whole system in and of itself is much more well organized.
It is coming up on the end,
No, it's not.
unfortunately.
I'm enjoying
I know. It's always the worst time.
Yes, it is.
The worst part of the
because
interview.
I love talking to her. I mean, you're just awesome to talk to, and I love listening to you. And but I want to thank you so much for taking your time. I appreciate that. I know it's late there, and I'm sorry.
No, it's late here. It's not late there.
Oh wait,
It's
yeah.
only mid-afternoon for me.
Oh, that's right. You're tomorrow though. So,
Yeah.
so how is it in the future? Like, is it?
Well, we're still here. The world is still here.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
we'll be fine for at least the next, how many, 18 hours or 17-hour time difference?
Something like that.
Yes.
We've kind of already said it, but do you want to let people know where they can find your work and read all your stories?
Yep. So I'm on Instagram at Nightmarish Meatballs. all one word.
And it is awesome
And
name.
Nightmarishmeatballs.com is your website. Is that right?
Yes, nightmarishmeatballs.com is my website.
Which is a really cool website. I like it. I was looking at it right before the call, putting your intro together. Really neat website.
I have to admit, I hate the color pink now because I pinked myself out of pink when I was a kid because I oversaturated everything, not realizing why. But I love the pink on your website.
Oh, thank you.
And
I'm
not liking you for that part because you're making me like pink again. So I'm.
I mean, we can't really get away from pink though. It's everywhere right now.
I know.
All the movies and stuff that are out, like Barbie and Wicked and whatever else.
Yeah, I over pinked myself when I was a kid. I had a Pepto-Bismol pink bedroom.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah, it is. Well, not for those that actually saw the room. It wasn't really amazing, but for me as a kid, I was just like, yes, this is awesome. But looking back, I wish I could tell myself, please don't do that. Just please don't.
We all have regrets, don't we?
That's my biggest one.
The pink bedroom.
Yes. Like the sheets, the bedding, the closet doors, everything. It was pink.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
It's really, really good being on here. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Because, I mean, it's awesome to get to talk to you and finally meet you because Mike's been like jabberwocky or whatever the word is about you all like this whole time since he's met you. And so I'm glad to finally meet you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad to finally meet you both.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Please leave a rating for us wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Othering Podcast is brought to you by Loudcore Productions in conjunction with your support. Your host, Mike and Dory Morris, graphics by Joshua Morris, and join us next week on the Othering Podcast.